A top story first. The Tamil Nadu government has scrapped the proposed 27,400 crore rupee Greenfield airport at Parandur near Chennai. Chief Minister Vijay told the State Assembly that the government would instead consider alternative sites where agricultural land, homes and livelihoods are the least affected. Now, the project in question had received in-principle clearance from the Civil Aviation Ministry but faced sustained opposition from farmers across Parandur and 12 surrounding villages. The government will now conduct technical feasibility studies before finalizing a new location. Meanwhile, the existing Chennai airport is set to be expanded from its current capacity of around 30 million passengers a year to roughly 55 million through terminal upgrades and a proposed fifth terminal. Now, the announcement in question with regard to Parandur being shelved and a new airport taking form and shape at a possible alternate location saw a walkout by DMK MLAs after they were denied permission to respond in the House. In fact, DMK MLA and former Minister Thangam Tenarasu said that Parandur had been selected after detailed studies and warned that abandoning it for political reasons could hurt Tamil Nadu's economy and push industries towards Andhra Pradesh. He also pointed out that compensation had already been paid for some of the acquired land and questioned how that land would now be used. Now, industry representatives meanwhile say an alternative site must be finalized quickly given Chennai's growing industrial, manufacturing, cargo and logistics requirements. Before we go ahead on this story, let's listen into what the Chief Minister said on the floor of the House today.
நான் உறுதி அளித்தவாறு பரந்தூரில் புதிய விமானம் நிலையம் அமைக்க மேற்கொண்ட நடவடிக்கைகள் இந்த அரசால் கைவிடப்படும். துறை சார்ந்த வல்லுநர்கள் மற்றும் கல்வியாளர்கள் ஆகியோர்களிடம் கலந்தாலோசித்து விவசாய நிலங்கள் மற்றும் குடியிருப்புகளுக்கு பெரிய அளவில் பாதிப்பு ஏற்படாதவாறு புதிய விமான நிலையம் அமைப்பதற்கான பொருத்தமான சில மாற்று இடங்கள் தேர்வு செய்யப்பட்டுள்ளன. அவ்விடங்களில் தொழில்நுட்ப ரீதியான சாத்தியக்கூறுகளை சம்பந்தப்பட்ட துறைகள் மூலம் விரிவான ஆய்வு மேற்கொண்டு புதிய விமான நிலையத்திற்கான இடம் விரைவில் இறுதி செய்யப்படும்.
For more on what transpired at the Tamil Nadu Legislative Assembly today, let's go across to my colleague Dharni, who brings us up to speed with what followed after the TVK formally announced the scrapping of the Parandur airport. Dharni, it seems final now. Chennai will not be having its second airport in Parandur.
Today in the Assembly, Chief Minister Vijay announced that the Parandur airport plan is going to be dropped by his government. Instead, the government will find a different location for the construction of Chennai's second airport is what he had told. So post this announcement, we can see celebrations taking place in Parandur. Villages from Parandur and the nearby areas, they are bursting crackers and they are distributing sweets post this announcement from Chief Minister Vijay. Remember, the villages, they had been protesting against the proposed second airport for a really long time now. They say that if this airport comes up, hundreds of acres of farmland has to be demolished and all the river bodies in the area will get destroyed. So this airport construction should not take place is what they've been telling right from the beginning. But as far as the DMK is concerned, both former Chief Minister M.K. Stalin and now leader of opposition, that is Stalin, they are alleging that Chief Minister Vijay is indulging in petty politics for the sake of political gains, and withdrawing this plan to construct an airport in Parandur will take Tamil Nadu backwards by 10 to 15 years, because compared to cities like Bangalore, Delhi, Hyderabad, etc., Chennai is losing out on investments. Chennai is losing out on economic growth because of poor connectivity issues. So a second airport is a need of the moment for Chennai, and the government's decision to withdraw the Parandur plan will take Tamil Nadu backwards by many years, and this is completely unacceptable is what the DMK is telling on its part. So the war of words between the DMK and the TVK is continuing on one side.
Now, the decision to scrap the Parandur airport is not new. In fact, it was an election promise earlier made by the TVK when it was in campaign mode earlier this year. Barely a month since assuming power in the state, the TVK-led Tamil Nadu government said it would put that plan into action, not going ahead with the Parandur airport, that is. There was also talk about building an IT park at the site of what would have been Chennai's second airport. In fact, in the month of June, I spoke to CII's South Zone Chairman P. Ravichandran about these proposals. He told me that Chennai desperately needs a second airport, but it does not matter where it is built. Let's revisit a slice of that conversation.
My perspective, as you know already, we have slipped to the seventh, in terms of passenger traffic in Chennai. Chennai first needs an uplift. Whether we need the second airport is the second part actually. Chennai needs a big upliftment, and that's something we are working and engaging with the Airports Authority of India. But certainly we need a decision on Parandur or the alternative as fast as possible actually.
To trace out the political fallout of this decision taken today at the Tamil Nadu Assembly and what it means for the state, I'm now joined by Mr. Narayan Tirupati, spokesperson of the Tamil Nadu BJP. Mr. Narayan, thank you so much for joining us on South Central today. My first question to you, many would say it's a long time coming. It isn't exactly a surprise in many ways. But what do you make of the TVK's decision to scrap that long-awaited second airport for Chennai in Parandur? A political decision in many ways, you might say?
Political decision and a short-sighted decision. And I think it is a very immature decision also, because for the last 4 or 5 years, there were a lot of plans, a lot of lands were, taken, and several hundreds of crores were given to the public. So Chennai, as we saw that, we are ranking in the 7th position, where Chennai is the hub for many industries. So definitely we are going back 10, 15 years. Economically, it is going to affect us very badly. And Karnataka and Andhra will take over, Chennai's or Tamil Nadu's all economic activities. So this is a very big problem, and it is a big setback for Tamil Nadu. Our economy will go down compared to Karnataka and Andhra. This is huge. And I think the immature governance or the short-sighted view of the Chief Minister has done this. And I think even if they find a new place, comparatively the same place, around 5,000 acres with all approvals and other things, it is going to take at least a decade for Chennai to have a second airport, which is really very, very sad.
Mr. Narayan, what really is quite flummoxing and surprising is that I think the Chief Minister spoke on the floor of the House today saying that he would find an alternative site that does not impact so many lives and livelihoods, as the Parandur airport apparently did. But a look at the numbers actually makes for very interesting reading, because as per the 2011 census, the population of Parandur was an abysmal 2,556 individuals, equal number of men and women. So it almost seems like the land parcel that was identified for this airport was perhaps the most suited one, given that it would not have impacted too many people. 2,500 is a big number, yes, but given that in context to the larger population of the state of Tamil Nadu or even nearby Chennai, it seems like this was perhaps the the least invasive or the least interfering land parcel that one could possibly think of. So it almost seems like, a large reaction for what would have otherwise been the least invasive or the least interfering piece of land to build a new airport, you think?
See, Tamil Nadu, we have to face a lot of challenges when it comes to, economic activity and development. So definitely, anywhere you go, you will have a lot of people, and people will get affected, no doubt. But the proper compensation should be given, and that is what we should have done. Mr. Vijay should have sat with those people, convinced them. And see, Tamil Nadu is 99% most urbanized state, we all know. So you are not going to get any big, land banks anywhere in near Chennai or even other places, because we know that every 20, 30 kilometers we have a small town or a very big town, corporations or municipalities. This is a state where you have huge urban population. So it is going to be a very, very, very difficult for the TVK government. But just because they has promised without in order to get votes, I think he has taken a decision which is really shocking and unfortunate. I think getting one more place like this is going to be a very big problem because we have one side we have sea and another
Right.
side we have industries from Kanchipuram and Chengalpet district. We have Thiruvallur district. We have industries where
Right.
you don't have this parcel land parcel. So this is going to be a huge
Right.
problem for the government.
Right. Now, you know what we have been reporting, and some of us have been reporting on this story ever since the DMK first, initiated plans to build that airport there, and it saw 900 days of continuous protest by locals in Parandur. But the cold hard facts are this, Mr. Narayan. In fact, advocates for the Greenfield airport in Chennai have actually said that existing airport infrastructure, and I think our viewers should know this, simply won't be enough 10 years from now because passenger traffic from Chennai alone is estimated to hit a whopping 40 million people. That's nearly double the 21 million passengers that flew out of Chennai merely a year and a half ago. So it almost seems like a new airport is inevitable for the city. And you'd think that a lot of time has now been wasted because the land acquisition process was already begun. So essentially the Tamil Nadu government is going to go back to the drawing board and start the process all over again. That's a terrible waste of time.
Yes, it is a terrible waste of time, and that is what going to spoil the economy of Tamil Nadu. It is definitely going to spoil the business. New investors may hesitate to come, and employment opportunities will be at stake compared to other states, particularly Andhra and Karnataka, where they are ready to talk to the people and convince them. See, nothing is impossible. Yeah, but definitely that too for the popularity Mr. Vijay had in the last, say, election. He should have definitely visited these places once again and tried to pacify those people and bring them back. But 100% he should have done that. But someone has advised him wrongly because he may not be aware of what actually it is. So someone would have advised him wrongly. And in fact, DMK government also made a lot of mistakes. They should have finished it long back. But due to pressure and other things, they also done it. But as you rightly said, it is going to be a very big setback, and it is going to be very difficult for Chennai. It's, the every day we are also suffering, though it is inside the city. But the crowd, the traffic, and and also every day going to the airport and coming back, it's going to be very, very, very difficult.
Absolutely. Well, one can only hope then that the government sees some reason and looks at a course correction with regard to their approach to that second airport in Parandur. But on that note, Mr. Narayan Tirupati, thank you so much for joining us in South Central today and breaking down some of these insights. Great speaking to you on the show today.
Thank you.
Moving on to court action next, the Supreme Court has asked Tamil Nadu to approach the Cauvery Water Management Authority over its claim that Karnataka is in fact not releasing its proportionate share of Cauvery water. The court noted that Karnataka had in fact already released water in line with the authority's directions, but Tamil Nadu argued, on the other hand, that the quantity ordered by the authority was still below its rightful share. Tamil Nadu, remember, had moved the court seeking the release of 4.536 1,000 million cubic feet of water, equivalent to 3,500 cusecs per day for 15 days. The matter is expected to be heard by the Apex Court on the 31st of August this year. Meanwhile, wind energy major Suzlon is all set to invest 10,000 crore rupees in Andhra Pradesh to develop 1,325 megawatts of wind power capacity at Govindawada in the Anantapur district. Now, the projects are expected to create around 4,000 direct and indirect jobs. Suzlon is also targeting an additional 5,000 megawatts of renewable energy projects in the state by 2030. Remember, the company has already more than 1,700 megawatts of installed wind capacity in Andhra. Its Anantapur blade manufacturing unit, in fact, accounts for nearly 40% of Suzlon's overall blade production. Meanwhile, Chennai-based Lalita Jewellery has made a strong stock market debut, listing at a premium of nearly 32% over its issue price. The shares opened at about 265.3 rupees on the BSE and 265 on the NSE when compared to the IPO price of 201 rupees. The 1,700 crore rupee public issue, remember, was subscribed nearly 63 times. It comprised a fresh issue of around 1,200 crore rupees and an offer for sale worth 500 crore rupees. Analysts say investors are excited about Lalita given its attractive valuations because even after its 32% listing premium, Lalita is valued at around 15 times its FY26 earnings. That's well below Kalyan Jewellers at roughly 43 times and Titan at nearly 78 times. Lalita's market capitalization, meanwhile, stands at around 14,800 crore rupees when compared to 62,000 crore for Kalyan and 4.5 lakh crore rupees for Titan. On to an ET Now exclusive next. AI could replace large pockets of the $900 billion SaaS market. That's the word coming in from Hexaware CEO R. Sri Krishna. Over the weekend, the company said it was betting on AI to power its next phase of growth. I got the chance to catch up with the management at the company's Chennai AI lab, where around 700 young engineers are working on AI-led solutions, even as the Hexaware boss told me that half of its current work is already AI infused. Here's a slice of their exclusive conversation on Hexaware's $3 billion revenue ambition, why AI could replace certain categories of SaaS products, and how it plans to overcome AI-led pricing deflation. Listen in. Mr. Sri Krishna, good to have you with us here on ET Now, and it's nice to be within your AI lab in Chennai in many ways. It's a sector you're betting big on.
Yes.
Tell me a little bit about the space, what it's all about, and where we find ourselves in really, and what kind of capabilities do you bring to the table with regard to the AI lab itself?
What you see here is the output of what a lab creates.
Right.
The lab itself is elsewhere in this campus, but also in some other cities. It has got about 700 young, highly talented engineers. When I meet them, I get inspired. Even if as you walk around here, you see that they're all very young.
Right.
So this whole narrative that AI is for older people, is going to shrink jobs with younger people, I think is wrong. Because I get inspired when I meet young people, their talent, their creativity. This is the output of what they create.
All right, absolutely. It's very encouraging that you say that because we live in a time when there's so much uncertainty with the job scenario, but the fact that you have a very visible young demographic here working with AI, I think makes for some solace to how we see the situation moving forward. But let's talk numbers, Mr. Sri Krishna. I think reports have suggested that $3 billion in revenue is what you're targeting by 2029. Break that down for us. What gives you the confidence to achieve it, and how do you plan to go about doing that?
See, it's always good for any business to put an aspiration number, which we did some time ago.
Right.
Saying we want to get 3 billion. That includes our organic growth and includes acquisitions. But the most important levers for accelerating growth for us, there were 4, but AI became the 5th. The 4 were, 1, legacy modernization, which we're now calling zero tech debt, which is actually a part of AI. The second is we said we want to do better on private equity channel than we were before. Third, we were absent in the tech business. All of our peers have big business in tech. Last October, we hired a very talented leader called Iravi to lead that business. We're already making solid progress.
Right.
And the 4th was for us to do better in what we think is a great market, notwithstanding the current disturbances, which is Middle East. And the 5th now, of course, is AI and all the new TAMs we've identified.
And speaking of AI itself, you've said that more than 50% of your AI revenue is, or if your revenue is already AI infused. Could you break that number down for us? What exactly it means? And more importantly, how much of this is genuinely new revenue that you are actually accounting for yourself?
See, our first mission that we set on ourselves, for ourselves in the AI, is that AI should positively impact every single client, the work we do for them every single day. So this 50% is a measure of that progress.
Right.
What it means is that more than 50% of the work we do right now has AI, and it positively impacts customers, either in reducing cost or improving service, or often both for them.
And even as we speak, there's a $300 billion market that's left for the capturing, and you've already sounded off intentions to take a big part of that for yourself. Realistically, Mr. Sri Krishna, how much of that market can you capture for yourself, and what do those dynamics look like at this time and place?
See, the way we define the TAM which you're talking about, if you go by market estimates, the TAMs for each of the lanes are actually much higher. Let me take 2 examples. Zero tech debt. 220 billion lines of COBOL code in production. There are estimates there that just that TAM is greater than $500 billion.
Right.
I don't think it's actionable. We think about 30 to 40 billion of that is actionable.
Okay.
SaaS market is 900 billion. It's not actionable. Many SaaS companies will survive and thrive, but there are many pockets that we think can be addressed. So we've done a smaller best estimate of what we think is addressable within each of the spaces. Now, for us to get to high growth, we need a fraction of this time to work for us.
Okay, so you say fraction, what is that number likely to be like?
Why, even if 1% of the time works for us, that's great growth.
All right, that is indeed great growth, simply because the potential is so much, and there is, of course, a whole lot that SaaS is already doing right now that you can probably go about achieving. But there's been a big headline in the last couple of days that's put you in the focus, and that is the fact that you have said that SaaS could well be on its way out, and that it's something that AI could effectively replace. I want to give you the opportunity to maybe delve a little deeper into that and tell me what you mean. I mean, surely there's been talk about SaaS dying for the longest time. Now, I will give you that. I've covered multiple stories as well, which delves into great detail of how AI could make that happen. But what are you looking at essentially? AI effectively replacing the subscription-led model? Is that becoming obsolete? Why is SaaS dying?
See, if you look at why SaaS grew in the first place, there were two premises. The first, SaaS company said, I can bring best practices encoded into my platform and bring standardization. But the truth is, most large enterprises don't like standardization. They feel it's being forced on them. The second, which is true, is that it's too expensive to build software and too time-consuming to custom-build software to replace the SaaS. The second part is no longer true. And the first, people never liked in the first place. So I think that's the fundamental premise. However, if you look at it, there are many types of SaaS that I think will have a moat that we can't cross.
Right.
If they have core data about the enterprise, if they're running, processes that impact, let's say, reporting, processes that impact compliance, that's not our target. But it's a $900 billion market, close to $1 trillion. There are many pockets. We've identified 4 or 5 archetypes that we think are good. Archetype 1, easy to replace software, workflow stuff. Archetype 2, where people are paying for double licenses. There's a Salesforce license and there's a Viva license on top, as an example. Archetype 3, the SaaS companies decided they're going to sunset that product.
Right.
Now, for a client, what are the choice? I go and find another SaaS, or now there's a new choice. You can custom build it. So that's a third archetype. So there are a few archetypes that we feel pretty good are going to be rich targets for us, and even just sunset products. Basic research will throw up there are 150 companies that have said they're not going to support sunset products. The fourth, by the way, is customers are giving their data and renting intelligence. They're given 10 years worth of transaction data and they got PDF reports. They don't even access to their own data. So I think there are good archetypes for us to
Absolutely.
address.
And that's fertile ground really for you to go about, making that replacement happen. But even as we speak, you've completed 4 zero license deals. I think Zero Tech Debt has about 40 clients at this time in place. When do you see these offerings meaningfully add to revenue right here?
So Zero Tech Debt, I'm not sure where you got the number 40 from, but it's more than the 4. Zero license, we only started in Jan. Zero Tech Debt, the earlier avatar was legacy modernization, which we started last Jan.
Okay.
So that has more revenues right now. And it will have more meaningful revenues in the near term. In Zero Tech Debt, we actually said in the last quarter, earlier in the year, we said we got our first double-digit $1 million deal. Last quarter, we said we got our second double-digit $1 million deal on legacy modernization. And I think we'll have more double-digit $1 million deals on Zero Tech Debt before this year is out. So that'll be first off the bat is being more meaningful. I think zero license, a lot of the deals right now, clients love the concept. First, they don't believe it, but once we show them, they like the concept. Then we pick up one software or one small pool and say, let's prove it. I think some of these clients, once we prove it, they're going to say, hey, my total SaaS spend is whatever, $40 million a year, $80 million a year. Give us a full list. We have a platform where you put in the name of a SaaS platform. In about 2 minutes, because 8 agents working in the background, it'll tell you what we can do with it.
Right. Well, the winds of change, no doubt, if at all, SAS comes to an end thanks to AI itself. But moving on, and before we end, 19-year-old Kezia Liz Major from Kerala's Alappuzha district has been named Miss Universe India 2026 after competing against 52 other finalists in Jaipur. The law student, model and classical dancer will now represent India at the Miss Universe pageant in Puerto Rico this November. And there was more southern sparkle too at that event, even as Tamil Nadu's Vaishnavi Ganesh also finished as the runner-up. And on that note, it's a wrap on the bulletin today. Thanks so much for watching. We'll see you same time, same place tomorrow with more news and updates from South India. But for the moment, it's goodbye from us.